98% of women say this when they have secretly missed you. Backed by psychology and real-world dating insights, this video from Psychology 2.0 breaks down 8 common phrases women say when they miss you, but do not want to say it outright. Most men overlook these emotional cues, but if you catch number 8, you will understand exactly where her heart is truly at. When a woman says, "I was just thinking about that weird thing you said," it might not sound like a compliment or flirtation. It may even seem like a random mention of a small micro moment you probably forgot, but this is not nostalgia. It is breadcrumbing. She is referencing something deeply specific to subtly reconnect. She wants to create casual conversation, yet that single sentence is carrying 2 weeks of her replaying that moment in her mind. If she brings up something oddly specific from your shared past, she has been mentally revisiting it again and again, because that memory makes her feel emotionally close to you again. You probably do not even remember this, but that is what she says next. This is the faux humble memory flex. She pretends it is nothing important while secretly hoping it is everything to you. This is a quiet bid for emotional intimacy. She wants to know whether your memory has held on to the same timestamp hers did when women miss you but cannot say it directly. They test for shared emotional memories, and when you remember the same details, she feels safe and emotionally reconnected, because to her it means that your heart still occupies the same space hers does. Then comes, "I had a dream, and you were in it." Sounds random, but it is never random. It is rehearsed. She debated for hours whether saying it was too forward or too obvious, but the dream line is safe. It allows her plausible deniability while confessing her emotional longing indirectly. That dream is not coincidence. It is strategy, and psychology explains this perfectly. Dreams can act as emotional doorways. For reconnection, the human subconscious replays emotional bonds that are unresolved. So when she uses this line, she is giving you a coded message. She still feels that emotional bond, and her mind has used imagination as a safe channel to reach you. Now, sometimes she will say, "I saw someone who looked just like you," and that is not about resemblance. It is about emotional proximity. Her mind is tuned to your frequency. She scans faces subconsciously searching for you. Even in strangers, that statement may seem innocent, but deep inside she is saying, "I am still watching the world through the lens of you." In psychology, this happens when emotional attachment heightens sensory awareness. She starts to see reminders of you everywhere because your memory has become part of her perception filter. Next, she may say, "You would hate this place I went to," and most guys misread this as sarcasm or casual talk, but it is deeper. She is not just describing her experience, she is filtering her world through your preferences, meaning you still live rent-free in her head and her heart. She uses your opinions to evaluate her surroundings, which is an intimate psychological behavior when women miss someone. Their current experiences get compared to how they would feel if that person were still beside them. She is emotionally mirroring her reality against your absence, and that shows she still feels connected even when silence stretches between you. Then she says, "Reminds me of that one time," and stops halfway pretending it is casual, but this is not random storytelling. It is emotional tethering. She wants to recreate an echo of what you shared. She is relighting the match without making the first move. She remembers those shared laughs or moments to see whether the spark still flickers inside you. Each recollection is a quiet emotional signal. She is testing to see if your heart still beats in rhythm with that memory. Her goal is to reawaken that chemistry without exposing her. Full vulnerability. Another phrase you probably have a million girls texting you now might sound like teasing, but it is really a window into her fear. She is masking insecurity with humor. That line means she hopes you are still emotionally available. She wonders if she has lost her place in your attention. Women often hide genuine emotional longing behind sarcasm or jokes because humor feels safer than honesty. This phrase reveals her inner conflict between pride and attachment. She cannot admit that she misses you, but the joke is her disguised confession. Then she says, "You always disappear when I actually want to talk to you." This sounds frustrated, but it is exposure. If she did not care, your absence would mean nothing, but it does her. Tone may seem defensive, yet beneath it lies sincerity. This is her emotional outburst that says, "I missed your presence and your silence hurt me." That passive-aggressive jab is her version of a love note written in irritation when a woman expresses. This kind of frustration psychology shows it is a defensive reaction to unspoken attachment. She wants reassurance that she still matters, even if she can only say it through complaint. Her heart has not moved on, and that is why your absence still stings. Sometimes she will say, "I was just near your favorite place and thought of you," which sounds casual, but it is an invitation. She is mentally revisiting your old emotional geography. She walked through a memory and wanted to take you with her. It means your presence still colors her world. Even now, she could have ignored that moment but chose to reach out, and that action shows she still feels emotionally anchored to you. Nostalgia in this context becomes her way of keeping the bond alive. She is seeking emotional safety in familiar spaces that once felt like home because you were part of them. When she reacts with, "I can't believe you still remember that," after you recall an old detail, what she truly feels is relief. It tells her, you cared more deeply than she assumed. That memory becomes a bridge to trust. She feels seen and emotionally validated, because it means your connection was never one-sided in the psychology of attachment. Remembering shared emotional details restores her sense of security. It makes her feel like maybe the bond was real, and that allows her heart to reopen slightly. Next comes, "I am happy for you, really," when you share good news. It sounds supportive but carries emotional duality. She feels pride. Mixed with longing, she wants to celebrate you, yet quietly wishes she was still part of your success. That kind of tone softens when emotion leaks through her control. Psychology calls this emotional ambivalence. It means she is processing two conflicting feelings at once, joy and loss. She wants to sound detached, but her heart still feels the ache of what once was. She misses being part of your journey more than she will ever admit. You have changed, but in a good way. That one cuts deep because it shows she has been observing your growth from afar. She notices details because she is still emotionally invested. This is not small talk. It is an admission of attention. When women miss a man, they unconsciously track his evolution, comparing who he is now to who he was when they were close. This observation holds admiration mixed with nostalgia. Her noticing proves she never fully detached, and deep down she feels quietly proud of you, even as she mourns the distance. Sometimes she says, "I was telling my friend about you," and it sounds harmless, but it is actually confession. She has been bringing you up in safe spaces because your name still brings emotional warmth. Mentioning you allows her to reconnect with your energy even indirectly. She may frame it as random talk, but it is her way of reintroducing you into her emotional landscape. She is testing how it feels to speak about you again, hoping it still brings comfort instead of pain. That is not just conversation, that is longing wrapped in storytelling. Then she says, "I miss how easy things used to be." This one is pure emotional honesty, hidden under reflection. She cannot say, "I miss you," because that feels too raw. So she talks about the feeling. Instead, she is not missing the past. She is missing you and the peace she felt around you. Her heart is craving that comfort. Psychology calls this emotional displacement. She shifts the longing toward the memory to protect herself from vulnerability. But make no mistake, it is you she is talking about. When she says, I still have that thing you gave me," whether it is a hoodie, a photo, or a gift, it carries deep symbolic meaning. People only keep things that hold emotional significance. This is sentimental attachment, and psychologists say it represents unresolved emotional bonds. She has not fully let go of you because she has not released what you symbolize. She might not use that object daily, but she keeps it because it keeps a part of you close. Then comes, "I was listening to that song." We used to love music acts as emotional time travel. It instantly transports her to moments when she felt closest to you. She is not just remembering the song, she is reliving laughter, connection, and warmth. That melody becomes an emotional bridge, allowing her to revisit you safely because it feels less direct. Songs are powerful triggers for stored emotions, and when she mentions one, it means you still hold a rhythm in her emotional world. Sometimes, she says, "I do not know why I thought of you today," pretending it was spontaneous, but that thought was brewing for days, maybe weeks. She was debating whether to reach out, finally giving in with a light message that carries heavy meaning. This is her way of checking whether the emotional door is still open. She is hoping you will respond in a way that reignites the old familiarity. It is vulnerability disguised as curiosity. A gentle whisper asking, "Do you still think of me too?" And when she says, "You still know how to make me laugh," it might sound simple, but it is a quiet surrender. Laughter bridges emotional distance when she laughs with you again. Her guard softens her body, remembers the safety she felt around you, and that moment becomes a small healing between two hearts that once connected deeply. Her laughter is her heart's permission to feel again. When you start to recognize these subtle cues, you realize missing someone rarely sounds like longing. It hides in casual conversation, in jokes, in shared memories, or in unexpected dreams. Underneath every phrase lies emotion seeking reconnection, and if you learn to hear what is not being said, you will never miss the signs again, because true emotional connection never truly vanishes. It only hides behind words, waiting for someone who understands to listen. Psychology 2.0.